long sticks are easier to shoot than the short ones.
And the marking is
my symbol. This is my symbol. This is my design. Four turn marks on it. And this one, the Onondagas like to name their sticks, and this is called Pollo Loco. I don't think that's Native American. But everybody likes it, Pollo Loco.
You a crazy chicken?
Yeah. Yeah.
You make those, Alf?
Yeah, I make these. You don't tell me you want one. Come on.
No, no.
Okay. My name is Alf Jacques. I'm an Onondaga Turtle Clan. I'm a lacrosse stick maker. I've been making lacrosse sticks at Onondaga with my father, and without him. We started 50 years ago. So I've been doing this for about 50 years. I started making lacrosse sticks with my father because we couldn't afford to buy a stick. Didn't have enough money. They cost about $4 or $5 a piece at the time, but we didn't have any money. We weren't poor, we just didn't have any money. Couldn't buy a stick. My father says, hey, what the heck? Let's make our own. We went out in the woods, cut down a hickory tree, and split it, and ruined the first 8 pieces of wood because we didn't know what we were doing. But we went out, got another tree, and actually got sticks to bend, and we just kept doing it, making them better and better. By about 1973, we were making almost 12,000 sticks a year, all by hand. And I don't even know how we did that. That's a lot of work. 1973, 74, the plastic sticks came in, pulled the rug out from under us. We went from 12,000 a year to 1,200. 90% drop in an instant. I have to give credit. My grandmother, she lived with us, and she made baskets. She made the black ash wooden splint baskets. She made them, she lived with us, she made them all the time. That's what she did. I was sitting on the floor watching my grandmother work. She was sitting in a chair whistling and making the splints and putting baskets together. And what she did is she pulled out a jackknife. She handed me a jackknife. I was 5 years old. She says, here. She gave me a jackknife. She gave me a handful of splints, and she says, watch what I'm doing and do what I do. I'll show you how to make baskets. My parents didn't care that I had a knife. I was encouraged to use a knife to make things. And my grandmother taught me that a knife is a tool. It's not a plaything, it's not a toy, it's not a weapon. It's a tool. You use this tool to cut the wood to shape and do what you have to do. That's what my grandmother taught me when I was 5 years old. Nowadays, you can't give a kid a knife, right? I don't get it. A kid has a butter knife and we call it a weapon. See, the parents are calling them weapons, the kids aren't. So my grandmother got me started carving wood, making things. She got me started. So when my father and I, out of necessity, started making lacrosse sticks, I was all ready for it. I was already carving since I was 5 years old. I think I was 12 or 13 then. So, to show you a little bit about making sticks. To make a lacrosse stick, you go in the woods and cut down a hickory tree. This is a split. You know, like you split firewood, 8 pieces, half, quarter, eighths. This is one split. That's one lacrosse stick. It's only the bottom 8 feet of a tree. The piece of wood is cut smaller. I have a bandsaw. I used to use just an axe. You cut the piece of wood, you take the corners off, basically, that piece of wood. You take the corners off, you make it smaller, a little lighter, and you carve this shape. This is the bottom of the tree, okay? That's the part you bend. You never bend the top of the part of the tree. You cut this, is that trapezoid? Smaller inside than the outside. You carve the shape. Once you get the shape done, piece of wood is set up to dry. You put it up to dry for approximately 6 weeks. Dry the wood. Sometimes 4 weeks is good, but 6 weeks is good. Dry the wood. You put the wood in the steamer, and in the steamer, it'll sit maybe 15 minutes to a half an hour. You pull it out, you put the wood in here. This is bolted to a post. Okay, you can't hang onto it and bend it. This is bolted to a post. So you put the wood in, and you muscle it all the way around. Just like this. It's on there. I can't put it back on. But you put it on there, you bend it all the way around, you put a wire on to hold it. You pull it right off. It sits like this. It'll sit like this drying a minimum of 6 months, up to 8 or 10. When this is dry, put it back in the steamer. I steam this part. I put this bend in. I have these 2 pipes that I bend things on. I lean on it. I put it in a holder. The holder holds this out, this in, and this out. That'll hold it till it sets, usually in a week or 2 because it's already dry. Cut it smaller. Take the wire off from the bandsaw, cut this, cut the handle, make it smaller. It's not straight, it curves when it dries. You cut it following the grain for strength. Okay? Take this piece, I put it on the carving bench. I carve the head shape. From here to here is finished, except for cut off here. You fill the holes, sand it, and finish it. Steam it, straighten the handle, balance the stick. It always curves when it dries. Steam it and straighten it. Now, you can steam it and straighten it, and tomorrow it's crooked again. So I steam it and straighten again. I've done steam straighten handle up to 6 times, because I'm not going to sell a crooked stick. Then I belt sand it. I have a big machine. Belt sand the whole thing. Oh, I drill the holes. I drill all the holes freehand by eye. I don't mark a hole. I don't have a template that says where to put the holes. I have a motor mounted with a drill, and I push the wood into the drill, up, around, everywhere, to get all the holes in. Then I belt sand it. After belt sanding on the machine, I hand sand it to get it right. Then I shellac it. I burn in my logo. Burn in my logo on the outside. I sign my name and I put the date on it. Then I shellac it and I do all the webbing. This part here is called rawhide gut. It's something I can't purchase, so I make my own. I buy whole raw salted cowhides, I clean the cowhide and cut the hide, spin it, hang it up to dry, and I make this. To keep the stick traditional, I do the extra work and I make this. A lot of guys use a nylon cord here, which is maybe functional, but it's not traditional. And a lot of my customers would rather have this anyway. Now, my logo, I made my logo when I was 10 years old in the 4th grade. That's my logo. I put my signature on it because people like that, and I put the date on it. In 1992, my mother found 2 of my lacrosse sticks in an antique store. Said, hey, look, I got an old wooden stick. Because everything is plastic, they automatically thought it was an old wooden stick. And they sold it as an old wooden stick. And in reality, I know the stamp I put on there was a blue stamp. The stick was only 3 years old. And that's not an antique. So I put the date on them. Another reason why I put the date on, here's an old stick right here. There's not a mark on it. I know that this was made in 1972. You don't know that. There's no name on it. You don't know who made it. I know who made it. I know what year it was made because it was my father's stick. But you got sticks like this with no mark on it. In the future, what's the value? The value comes knowing who made it when it was made, right? So that's why I put my name and date on it.
How do you know that? How did that stick? How do you know?
Well, I probably worked on it. I got a couple of sticks that was made with my father's company. Okay, the netting, only my father and I use this type of netting. There's also 2 holes on top. Other sticks, see how long that is?
Yep.
This is longer, this is shorter. This has 1 hole on top, this has 2. My father and I put the 2 holes on the top. Nobody else did.
Just little signatures like that.
Yeah, little things like that, yeah. And I know the style I'm making. So, yeah, I know that. Any questions? I got a little carving demo. Yes.
How come you have to bend at the bottom of the tree?
The top of a tree is more rigid. When a tree blows in the wind, all the canopy is like a sail and it pushes the top, okay? And the smaller limbs, yes, they flex. But where's the pivot? Where's the power? All here. So what it does, the tree has a natural enzyme producing thing that makes that part of the tree, the lower base, it makes it strong and flexible. Okay? Now when you see a tree broke off in the wind, it's almost always 15 to 20 foot up. They don't snap off at the bottom. And that's the part you want to bend that works. I've even taken them the wrong way. You had a hard time bending the top. Sometimes they wouldn't even bend. Okay? We have a little stick carving demonstration here.
What kind of wood do you typically use?
I like shagbark hickory. Shagbark, it's like what they use for axe handles, shovels.
So it's really hard.
It's not hard. Doesn't make any difference. It's flexible strength.
Okay.
Like oak is hard, but oak can crack. Okay, strength and hardness doesn't necessarily mean a good stick. It's the flexible strength and tensile strength. That's what the hickory has over oak. Yep. Okay. So this is a carving bench. It's a foot-operated vise. You push the foot down, and the pedal goes that way, and it goes through the pivot pin. The head comes down, holds the wood. So you got 2 hands free to do the work. We used to call this a Cooper's bench. You ever seen, yes, of course you've seen, a picture of a shipyard. In the shipyard, they're loading barrels on a ship. There was a day when everything was packed in a barrel. Everything. There was a guy who sat here with a knife, one shaped this way for the inside and one straight or outside. And he sat there and made barrel staves all day. Cooper. So that's why I call it Cooper's bench. This knife I'm using, it's a DR Barton, made in Rochester. The date on it was 1837. This knife, 1837. Okay, the old ones are good. The new ones, I don't know why they make a brand new carving knife, but you can't carve with it. You know, what's it for? Cheese? You know, I don't know. Yeah, right. So, like I showed you, all the different steps in stick making, it's a lot of work. And when you do this carving, this is like the fun part. This is more enjoyable. You can sit and carve all day and enjoy it. Let your thoughts go someplace else and just carve wood. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. So I have two knives. This knife here is do all the outside cutting. This knife here is shaped differently to the inside curve, so it don't heel out on the back. So you can do the inside cuts up here. The two shaped knives. And this knife is what you call a new knife. And the new one was made, I figure this one's about 1960 when this was made. 1960, that's a new knife. Does it look easy? Yeah, I make it look easy. Yeah, 50 years. It was actually a lot of fun.
Does it ever not go how you wanted it, even after all this time?
Yeah. Okay, what I tell people about stick making, when I go to bend the wood, people who are around, I tell them I can't guarantee that the wood is going to bend. When I cut this, the grain can be off. The wood is in charge, not me. I have to deal with what that wood is. Each tree is different. Sometimes it's different from this side of the tree to the other. I can't change that, but you have to work with it. Some of these are easier to carve than others because of the grain and the grain structure.
Is there anything special with the wood at the time of year to cut the hickory? Or the side of the tree facing north or south? Anything about different with the wood?
You don't cut the tree when the leaves are on. When the leaves are on, you see the bark on the bent parts? When the leaves are up, the bark will slip off. When there's no bark there to hold it, it breaks. So you cut them during the winter months after the leaves fall. Summertime, they just don't work. Then you got in the summertime, the wood is so wet. You got to dry the wood. It's you start with something so darn wet, you know. It'll get moldy before it dries. Any questions?
Is there a special way that you dry the wood?
I just air dry it inside in a barn upstairs. Just air dry it. Yeah, some of the people kiln dry the wood, and it takes the moisture out. It's not as strong. When you kiln dry the wood, it's not as strong. So I do the long, slow air dry, and that works good. I don't cut corners. I don't like to hurry up with things. Okay, so now we got the lacrosse sticks. This is an old style lacrosse stick. About 200 years ago, an Iroquois style stick was made very similar to this kind here. This stick is kind of a funny looking stick. It's black. It had a little pocket, but they always dry up hard and stiff. This stick, let me see here. Let's have a volunteer here. Somebody. Yeah, here.
I can't catch it.
No, just hold this. Just hold this. Okay, this stick here, you see this shape here, right? The hook on the end, the little thing that looks unfinished. When they played with this kind of stick, you could grab somebody's stick and steal it, pull it out of her hand, trip her legs. But that part of the stick was used when they used this type of stick. Thank you. That was used, that was part of the game then. A little more brutal than we do now. But that's the way the stick was used. That was about 200 years ago. This stick here, about 1840, this style of stick was being used up in Canada and in New York State area. Where the Indians had this long neck stick. very much
So we have one of our
shaped
main
like
speakers
this.
coming on up now. He's a keynote speaker.
They gave the
for
name of lacrosse,
representing the United Nation.
the French
on
word
the Onondaga Reservation here in Syracuse, New York.
lacrosse.
He gave us Schindler.
And the
He's
French
gonna come on
Jesuits
up,
saw
take
this
over the
stick.
mic, and he's going to talk about the
It reminded them of the
philosophy
Bishop's
behind
Crozier.
the values, the cultural values of
That's
the game
where
of
they got
lacrosse
the
and
name.
Haudenosaunee people.
The Bishop's
So
Crozier.
he's going to take over.
And the name stuck, and it's been here ever since. Of course, at Onondaga, our name for the game is Dehondisco S. Yeah, Dehondisco S. Okay, and Mohawk is Dewa Aladun. Dewa Aladun, that's the Mohawk word for this game. Each tribe has their own name for the game, and it's not lacrosse. Right? So, the Bishop's Crozier. Now, this stick was used, when this stick was being used up in Canada, Dr. George Beers, he was a dentist, and he started playing lacrosse, and he liked the game, and him and his friends got sticks, and they started playing against the Mohawks. About 1842, 1845, he made the rules of lacrosse. He wrote it down in a book. He put rules on it, the pocket depth and the width and the boundaries and everything. But he put rules on the game. All the lacrosse today, whether you're in England, New Zealand, Japan, wherever you are, all the lacrosse in the world that they play came from this kind of stick. This developed into all the plastic and everything we have today. A few years later, they started making a flat top stick like this one. It's a little bit better, easier for a ground ball. It's about up to 1905 we used a long net stick. After that, the stick head started to get shorter like this one. Okay. Now when I use this stick and the old style lacrosse stick like this, everybody on the field used the same stick. There was no defense stick or goalie stick or midi or attack. Everybody used the same stick. This one about 1915. This is almost a 100-year-old stick. This is original.
Did it tend to be a faster game? Because it would seem that it's hard to hold the ball like some of the guys do.
You can't say, well, faster.
I may be using the wrong term.
The better players could run, cradle, and throw and catch the ball better. Okay, today they make plastic sticks with a formed pocket where you can knock the guy on the ground, he rolls 3 times, gets up, and still got the ball. With this kind of stick, you had to learn how to cradle, how to carry it, how to go around people, protect the ball, and then release it the right way. You had more skill with these kind of sticks. The modern stick, the stick does most of it for you, which I don't approve of.
And that's why the MIDI also is able to carry it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so those sticks developed into the sticks. This, like in the 50s, the head got smaller. They had a stopper and a wall. This one here is late 1972. This one here I made for myself when I was in high school, 1967. Now, you guys know about offset head? Yeah? Okay, I made offset head. I made the offset head in 1967. My father and I made sticks that way through the 60s and 70s. Okay? The Bryan Company thinks they invented the offset head. Sorry, guys. But my father and I both made sticks this way through the 60s and 70s. We used to call it the whip. They called it whip, with a stick that was balanced that way to the back. Now it's called offset head. So the plastic head stick took over approximately 1974, and it was devastating to all the stick makers. My father and I, like I said, we went from 12,000 to 1,200 in an instant. We're talking about like 1 month, boom, no stick orders. We took piles of wood, cut it up for firewood, and sold it for $15 a cord for firewood, which should have been lacrosse sticks. Okay. So, but we always made sticks, and we made lacrosse sticks because our people needed wooden lacrosse sticks to play our traditional game, our way. Our tobacco ceremony, our game, our ball, our way. Without the rules and regulations of Baltimore or a rule book, this is what we need. Our people are buried with a lacrosse stick. Lacrosse stick goes in the casket with you. You take it with you. Play lacrosse in the spirit world with your ancestors. You can't run out of sticks. We always have to have sticks. Lacrosse sticks, wooden lacrosse sticks is part of who we are as a people. Lacrosse is who we are as a people. It's part of our religion. It's part of who we are.
Just like today, it's the Wooden Lacrosse Stick Expo, the first annual.
When this is over, you can come up and take a look at any of these sticks. Now I got more sticks here. This is a different kind of stick. This is a pair. Two sticks. Hold the ball in with the other stick and you run with it. You throw the ball like that. This is Western Cherokee.
Happy to be here today.
Western Cherokee.
I just want to let everyone know.
Now these sticks, like this one, Choctaw.
Events coming up. So we have Iroquois National website.
Long ago, with the long net sticks, when those were being used, these tribes used this kind of stick and this ball, and they still do today. This isn't out of the past. This didn't develop into our stick. Our stick developed on its own. These sticks developed on its own. Smaller ball, again, hold it in with the other stick, you run with it that way, and throw it like that. This is Choctaw. Oklahoma Choctaw. This one is Creek. Mississippi Creek. Mississippi and Oklahoma Creek. It's a lot smaller. You see how small that is? Their ball is even smaller than the small one I just showed you. Okay, it's pretty small. Heavy hickory.
Do you have an idea of how they developed such small sticks, or what their thinking was? When they gave it, capture it?
Well, okay, they got their stick with their game to play their way. We didn't tell them what to do, and they didn't tell us what to do.
Right.
Okay, it developed on its own in the different areas. The southeastern with the two sticks, it developed all by itself there.
I just didn't know if you knew like the history of how they thought to do that.
I don't know, but it was a game.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and they didn't throw stones at the enemy. It was never a weapon. It was a game. All over the world, they had wood, leather, whatever, but they didn't develop a weapon with it. It was always a game.
Do they believe the spiritual aspect of it as well? Or not as much?
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that. No matter what, the Northeast, the Iroquois, the Northeast tribes, the Southeast tribes with the two sticks and the smaller ball, their game, where their goal was a post, you had to hit the post with the ball. Miccosukee, Florida. Hold the ball in, it's a flat ball so you can hold it. You run with it like this, you throw it like that. Miccosukee of Florida, okay? Different stick, different ball, different rules, different way to play the game. Miccosukee, I don't know. I don't know what they did. I don't know everything about everyone, but I know a lot. Okay, so this one here is what is it? Menominee. Wisconsin, Menominee. And some of the tribes, this is called Great Lakes, the circle. The one stick with the circle, it's Great Lakes. This is a wooden ball. Who wants to play goalie? And of course then you're going to pick it up, it's Indian pickup like that. You run with it with one hand usually, pick it up and throw the ball. And, okay, Menominee. This one is Eastern Sioux. Eastern Sioux style. Eastern Dakotas, Eastern Sioux. Some of them used, with the Great Lakes, they used the leather ball, like the Iroquois ball.
And
northern Minnesota